Do y'all remember this?
Hi, I'm Fox San Antonio's Jessica Headley.
And I'm Ryan Wolf.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about
What the crap?
One-sided news stories
plaguing our country.
How do they all
Sharing
know
of
that?
biased and false news has become all too common on social media.
What?
More alarming, some media outlets publish the same fake stories without checking facts first.
The sharing of biased and false
news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets.
How do they all know what to say?
Facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms.
It's like the robots. It's like the robots.
And agenda to control exactly what people think. And this
Who's telling me to say this?
to our democracy.
I got to get to the
this is
bottom of it.
extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is 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 extremely dangerous to our
It's
democracy.
almost like someone downloaded this into their heads.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our
Extremely
democracy.
dangerous.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
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 This is extremely
Extreme.
dangerous to our democracy.
Or could it be extremely dangerous to their control and to their power? Before we get to this video, make sure you hit like, share my videos, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Also, make sure that your notifications are on and they're set to all. Now, let's get into this. But first, quick commercial break. Noble Gold Investments is pleased to let you know that gold is the best investment class for 2022. According to longtermtrends.net, gold has actually outperformed the S&P 500, Dow, and Bitcoin for 2022. So, what are you waiting for? Open a gold IRA or a silver IRA with Noble Gold Investments this month and receive a free 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagle coin with every qualified IRA of $50,000. You can't go wrong with Noble Gold and their thousands of 5-star reviews. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com or you can simply call them at 877-646-5347. What's going on, America? Kevin from Kevin's Corner, where I try to make some sense out of nonsense. Yeah, man, and I'm a little concerned about how all of those different news stations and anchor people that's all over in different locations somehow all knew what to say. It's like they were all plugged into some source of information that just made them, like robots, repeat the same narrative. Now, I ran across a little clip from Tucker Carlson where he had RFK Jr. on his show, and he seems to be able to explain why all of those networks were saying the same thing and why we as citizens and independent commentators are always being met with resistance, accusations of hurling false news and fake news and mis and disinformation and all of that stuff. It's almost as if they're protecting someone, most likely themselves, their control, their power. So let's go ahead and check out this clip and see if we can get a little clarity on what's really going on with all of this dangerous to democracy.
You and I know that from the Twitter files and that other information that's being released that the White House and other government agencies were colluding with the social media sites and with other news organizations to censor criticism of government policies. This is something different. The Trusted News Initiative was a secretive cartel that involved the big legacy media companies that you mentioned, the Associated Press, Reuters, the Washington Post, and the BBC, and also the social media platforms, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and Twitter. And it was an agreement that had two purposes. One was to suppress and censor any information, whether true or not, that departed from official government orthodoxies and government proclamations.
So wait just a minute. First things first. This man, who is a credible person, he is breaking down a conspiracy. Now, see, we're the ones that always are told that we wearing tinfoil hats and we're conspiracy theorists and stuff like that. But now he's saying that there has been some collusion and maybe some of our suspicions have some legitimacy. See, because when we find that our videos are being suppressed, Our channels aren't growing. We're being deplatformed and all of those things. We wonder, how could that be if what we're saying always ends up being true? Only way it could be is if the people who control these platforms wanted to make sure that we don't be able to use these platforms to speak truth. And so now what he's saying is that it's not just, maybe politicians. It's, let's see, powerful organizations like Twitter, Microsoft, YouTube, Facebook, all of those, and all of these major networks. So you mean to tell me it's like an oligarchy? It's like a hierarchy of powerful, rich people who have to have control of information. And because they own these major platforms, they're able to decide who's able to use their platforms. And also, they probably could stop other people from starting other platforms. Seems like they got a lot of power and a lot of incentive to make sure that the only source of news that the people hear and receive comes from them. Now, why would they do that? Oh, man. This dude right here, he's schooling me. I hope he's schooling you too. Let's check it out.
I think probably the more motivating purpose of the cartel was revealed in one of the memos that we have obtained from BBC, which is to destroy their rivals in the independent media. The BBC memo says to the other groups, and it was BBC, which is a British government-owned news network, and it was the one that orchestrated this secret collaboration, anti-competitive collaboration. And what they said is, although we are ostensibly all rivals and competitors with each other, the existential threat to all of our business models comes from thousands of independent news sites who are now not only providing all this content that people are reading, but they're also diminishing trust in our organizations.
Wow. So BBC decided that an enemy to my enemy is my friend. They said, let's set our differences aside. I know we're all competing and stuff. I know we all have to pretend to have all these differences and different angles and stuff. And, we're competing for advertisement. But at the end of the day, we all got the same goal and agenda. We all want to remain in power. We all want to remain in control. We all want the public to be able to trust us. And sometimes we will coordinate and organize what would appear to be some dissent, some division, some disagreements, kind of like the Democrats and our rhinos, where, they're the opposition, but they're controlled. See, every once in a while, they got to get up there in Congress and fake some type of monologue to make it seem like they despise the other. But at the end of the day, you'll see a Lindsey Graham get up and support the Democrats, or Mitch McConnell will sabotage the Republicans. And, it just creates the perception that there's these odds that's going on, but in real life, they're all on the same squad. Hey, listen, man, we all know we get rich somehow once we get into office. We all know that we make policies that benefits us, and somehow we're able to just make great business decisions to walk away with a lot of money. Now, we don't want to ruin this. We don't want to mess each other up. So don't go too hard on us, okay? Get up, get your sound bites, all of that stuff. Pretend to go through a couple, fake investigations, but nothing crazy now. Nothing crazy. You understand that, right? And we can keep this thing going forever. And when people start questioning us, all we do is we outsource our control to the media and to big tech and all of these places. This way, they can squash that mess. See, so it sounds to me like what big tech didn't understand or realize, and all of these mega platforms, all of these networks and stuff, they didn't anticipate, was all of us using these platforms to go in and destroy their narratives, expose their hypocrisy, destroy all of the collusion, the fake news, the false flags, and all of that stuff. They didn't expect that. They weren't ready for that. So it was kind of like an afterthought. They had to come together and say, look, man, now we might not get along all the time, but they about to ruin us. You see the views they get? You see the views CNN getting? You see what MSNBC is doing? We can't let that happen. Let's gang up on them and destroy the little man. We don't want to hear all of these individual people's voices. We want to control that mess, regardless of whether what they're saying is true or not, because truth is what we say it is. Wow. The nerve of these people.
And the way that we can destroy them, they called stamp them out and choke them. In this memo, they use those phrases. is to deny them platforms on the social media sites, because those platforms, the viral movement of these news stories is critical for the business models of those smaller news providers. So what they said is anybody who departs from the trusted news, which is the official government narratives of WHO, CDC, and the White House, and Anthony Fauci and NIH, we will make sure to identify them and to make sure that they are not given a platform. And again, Tucker, this had nothing to do with whether the statements were inaccurate. They use the word misinformation, and they acknowledge this throughout as a euphemism for any statement that departs from official government orthodoxies.
No wonder now it all makes sense. See, when Trump said that the fake news is the enemy of the people, now it's all clear. Because see, I'm thinking all the time my channel was stifled and my channel stopped growing and I received strikes and my channel was, suspended three times actually, because they claimed I was spreading dis and misinformation. Yet it came out to be true what I was talking about. They didn't apologize. They didn't give me my time back, nothing. They just said, oh, well, whatever. And it's kind of almost as if they didn't want the truth to come out. So even though they might have known it was true, what we were saying or what I was saying, they didn't care. It wasn't about the truth. It was about the agenda. It was about the narrative. Now, if regular people cannot see this as a problem, then they're very naive, because if we allow all of our sources of information to come from the powerful, the people who, for whatever reason, approve what sources are real sources or not, then we make ourselves susceptible to manipulation. Like I've seen the last 6 to 8 years, a ton of manipulation. Thus, you have people that has received misinformation about their medical decisions, mis and disinformation about the president, the real one. We don't know who the real one was. Dis and misinformation about a whole bunch of stuff. Right now, people don't know what's going on. We don't know if it's legit over in Ukraine. We don't know where the virus came from. I mean, they got people just running around chasing their tail. And the average person doesn't have the tenacity or the endurance to press through all of this dis and misinformation and this redirection to seek and find the truth. They're susceptible to this type of manipulation. So for years, they've been getting away with this. And then of course, explosion of the internet, thus also President Trump dropping a bomb right in the middle of their control, which pretty much revealed the matrix that they had everybody plugged into. And that's when you saw a big boom of all these independent commentators and news networks just sprouting up, because we recognize that, man, these folks are all doing what we just saw in that opening montage, saying the same thing, covering each other's back, going after certain people, and once we start seeing that and people said, let me create alternative sources of information, they had to huddle up and say, we can't have this. We cannot have this mess. Shut this mess down. Thus, when I opened up my independent website and I hooked up with a credit card processing company out of nowhere, they decided that my content didn't align with their values. And I'm thinking, is that right? So let me understand. You don't want us to be able to earn a living. You want to make sure that if there is a narrative that comes out, it's what you guys want the people to know. Then you will rank in priority all of these so-called legitimate news networks over all of us. Yet, as time goes on, we find that all of the things that us conspiracy theorists, us tinfoil hat wearing people, are independent, commentary and stuff like that. We're not reliable, but we always end up being right. Now, I would think that my channel would be at the very top of a trusted news source. I would think that every time somebody clicked on YouTube, my channel or videos would be right there. You should be able to trust this guy. Everything he said was true. But it's not. So thank you, Mr. RFK Jr. Boy, that man's brave for exposing this. See, and I hope other people see this video, share this video, so they'll know what they're working with. It's one thing for you to be very well informed and you make your own choices. But the worst thing is when somebody else is making your choices for you and yet you think you're making your own choices. Then you become a rat in a maze. And that's where the news and the powerful entities that we just heard wants us to be. See, that rat thinks that he's going after that cheese and making his own decisions. He doesn't realize the man in the lab coat is standing above taking notes and blocking certain pathways. And the rat thinking, I think I'll make a left. No, you had no choice. You made the left and you ended up at the cheese. Yeah, that was the result of the experiment to get you right there, but not make you know that you're not making your own choices to get there. They don't want you to know that. Yeah, they want all the choices to be made by them. And that's why they hate Kev from Kev's Corner. But not y'all. So hit that like button, share my videos, follow me on all the other social media platforms and good stuff like that. Please, if you want to donate to my channel, since I'm being held hostage by YouTube, feel free. The links are below. And check out my podcast and so on and so forth. And follow me on Rumble where I can get busy and get free. Now, God bless y'all. Take care.